Today is June 7th. We are 7 days into storm season, so we're certainly going to talk about that. But have an all-team meeting. All-team meetings, for those of us who are new on the call, it's where staff and AmeriCorps members come together all at one time, and we talk about what's going on at SPP. So really excited to welcome all of the new team members that we have, and of course, all of our current team members. So we'll talk a little bit about the agenda before we jump into everything. We're going to have a client highlight from Vanis, a message from Zach, our CEO. We'll go through operations highlights with Liz and with Andy. We'll talk about AmeriCorps highlights with Valeria and Raquel. New team welcome. There's so many team members since last all-team meeting, so Courtney will lead that. We'll get a communications update from Doug, an HR and people team update from Andrea and myself. We'll talk a little bit about preparing for disaster season or storm season. And then we'll do shout outs and questions and answers. So without further ado, we will jump in and get a client highlight, and I will invite Vanis to speak.
Hello everyone, happy June 15th. So yeah, Miss Gabriella, she prefers to go by Gabby Montez. She was one of my first clients when I started as a client services coordinator. Her home was obviously damaged by Hurricane Harvey. Her chimney fell in. She had wall damage and floor damage. Prior to that, and right after the storm, actually, she faced a lot of different struggles in her life that kind of prevented her from really being able to pay for the repairs herself. She's a single mother. She had an in-home daycare that she was running, which closed due to COVID, which obviously impacted her finances even more. She was denied several times by other organizations, and she was really feeling lost when she came and, applied to us. And during the whole process, she would often tell me that, she wouldn't allow herself to believe that she was getting her home repaired because she had been turned down so many times before. And it wasn't until construction actually started that she started to realize that, hey, her dream of repairing her home was actually coming true. And she could not have been more happier with the work that we had done. And I couldn't be more happy for her myself with everything that she went through and to see where she came from and where she is now. So I'm very happy for her, and I'm glad that we could, as an organization, we could come together to make her dreams come true. So this is Gabby Montez.
So we are on our way to see Miss Gabriella Montez. She prefers to go by Gabby. Her house was damaged during Hurricane Harvey. She's a single mother and trying to take care of two kids and try to, pay for home repairs. It was just too much for her. So she reached out to us. SPP went in, and quite frankly, she couldn't be happier with what we did for her. So I haven't seen her since we closed out the project in February. So it'll be nice to reconnect with her, to see how she's doing, and just say hello again. Miss Montez.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Come on, Mama.
How are you doing?
I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, my children's hearts, this organization. I mean, I looked you guys up, and if it wasn't for you guys and your generous donors, your leaders, your volunteers, I mean, I would still be in the same situation I was since 2018. It's taken these many years for somebody to finally step up and actually help me and my family. I am so thankful, so grateful for your generosity, especially for your employees who did not give up on me. Vanis saw that I was probably frustrated and just didn't believe in any other organization because it's heartbreaking. This has been a blessing, just from day one. It's just been wonderful. So thank you. And once I really get on my feet, and I'm gonna definitely give back to the organization so that we can also help other families.
What a fantastic client video. Vanis, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Up next, we have Zach with a CEO message. And I also want to just shout out Andrea and Laura for letting me know that I just read anything that's in front of me, and it is definitely not June 7th, but instead June 15th. So thank you for.
So we are on our way.
All right. So Zach, I will turn it over to you now.
Hey folks, I hope everyone's doing great, and I hope seeing Miss Gabby brought a sense of joy and pride and comfort and fortitude to all of you as much as it did for me. And it couldn't be more on message about the subject that I'd like to briefly discuss with you, which is this notion of volunteerism. The root of the word comes from free will. And when I think of all that's special about SBP, when I think of what allowed us to get through the beginning when we didn't know what we were doing, and what's really powering our day-to-day work for the thousands of families we've helped over the last 16 years, it's volunteering. And Miss Gabby talked about it herself. She said she can't wait until she's back on her feet to give back. Now's the time in our country, in the world, where many of us maybe feel a little unsettled. There are institutions that we might have thought were rock solid that perhaps there's some questions about. I want to tell you, and I want you to know that it has my complete certainty that the one institution in America that will not be shaken, that's foundational to who we are, and that is to this day still a not fully tapped resource, is our commitment to volunteerism. When we started, we were me and Liz, a woman who had 6 months before the Peace Corps, and this guy named Matt. We didn't know what we were doing, but we had tools and we had clients, and we had hundreds of volunteers a day who were coming to help. Not one of them asked, hey, how does your client vote? What's their faith system? What was their job before they did this? Nothing. They ran towards the fire. And that's what all of you have done as well. And so we need you, especially our AmeriCorps members and our team members. We need you, and we need volunteers. And what I need you to know, and I just want you to know how personally passionate I am, is our country is stronger. Our world is stronger. Our communities are stronger. Whether you look kind of small or you look kind of big, the more we can invest and support volunteerism, the more connected that we are as people. It's vibrational from my perspective. There's a ripple effect, right? There's the immediate impact of volunteering. We're getting it, we're adding predictability, we're shrinking time, we're providing a resource. But then there's that long-term impact of volunteerism as well, making sure that people know that they're not forgotten, that their humanity matters, and perhaps most importantly, for our clients, this brave and courageous notion of hope was not without merit. So volunteers aren't always easy, but man, are they important to our work. And so for those of you who came to us as volunteers, who are volunteering in essence through AmeriCorps, and those of you who are stepping up through SBP, I can't thank you enough. But I do ask that we do whatever we can do to make SBP stronger, our neighborhoods stronger, and help our clients more by bringing in more volunteers. So thank you, folks. We got a great agenda today. And thanks for all that you're doing to really make this country strong by harvesting and investing in our best resource, our people, through volunteerism. Thanks, folks.
Fantastic. Thank you, Zach. All right, next up, I would like to invite Liz and then Andy for operations highlights.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Zach. It's Great to be here, and thank you all for everything that you're doing day in and day out. I know that many of you are working in extremely hot weather these days, and so just want to give a shout out and say thanks, and please take good care of yourselves in this heat. So I kind of have the easy job in this meeting. I get to talk about all the great work that everybody's done since we last met, but really since the beginning of 2022. And then I'm going to hand over the mic to Andy, who's going to talk about a really cool project that he's been working on. So far this year, the team has rebuilt 237 homes. Amazing, congrats. That's a lot of families who've been able to return home and resume normalcy, just like Miss Gabby. I'm also really pleased to announce that we received a grant of $250,000 from the Center for Disaster Philanthropy, thanks to Elizabeth and Brittany's hard work, for us to launch our FEMA appeals program in Kentucky. And Kaya White, who was on the call today, is our first team member that we hired in Kentucky. And she is out there finding clients who really need additional support and assistance, making that appeal to FEMA. So really exciting stuff, and more to come on progress in Kentucky in the next couple of weeks. I want to give a shout out to Reese and his team about a couple things. First is that JR and the team led a leader practitioner course for the state of Michigan and Dearborn and Detroit. They're all new HUD grantees. And what's really exciting is that our team is coming in now when these various jurisdictions are designing their programs, as opposed to what we've had to do in the past, which has come in after the programs were designed and operationalized and sort of help them fix what's not working. So we're really excited to see how our team's influence and sort of fingerprints all over the program design and implementation is going to ensure that many more families are supported and assisted in a much more expeditious way than typically happens with a lot of these CDBG DR programs through HUD. So thank you, JR and team. I also want to welcome Michelle Stinnett to the team. She is running the Resilience and Recovery Fellows program that will launch in Lake Charles and Terrebonne Parish this year. We're really excited that we'll be able to bring on two folks, one in each community, to help those communities identify kind of large scale infrastructure projects that will position the community to withstand future storms and future peril. So in a lot of ways, this is like a prepare program, but on a much broader scale than just focusing on like the individual household or business level. So really, really excited, and welcome, Michelle. And then the last bit of exciting news before I hand it off to Andy is that the RAF, or the Recovery Acceleration Fund, has launched in Southeast Louisiana. And what this means is that SBP, using funds that we're actually going to recycle, will be able to rebuild homes for people who were impacted by Hurricane Ida, not just using philanthropic dollars, but using funds that we raised specifically for this fund to make the repairs. And then the Restore program, which is the large scale government funded program, will reimburse those funds so that we can put them back in the pool and help more families down the line. So this has been a long time coming. I just want to give a shout out to Reese and Keith and Steve Doolin and everybody else who is ensuring that this program is a huge success. So congrats to everybody for getting this launched. And we're really excited to be able to share in the next couple of months sort of how the program's going, what we're learning, and how we can bring this program to other states and jurisdictions that are impacted by disasters. And with that, I am going to hand it off to Andy, who's going to talk about this really innovative program that he's been working on in St. Vincent that involves, well, Andy, I'll let you take it away. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Liz. So what is St. Vincent, and who is this weird guy talking about it? My name's Andy Stoffleth. I am the executive director in the Bahamas, but for the past year, I have been back and forth between the Bahamas and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where the Lac Frere volcano volcano erupted on April 9th and basically inundated the whole island with volcanic ash, which caused a lot of structural damage to homes. And in that time, what we were hoping to prove was that the volcanic ash could be supplemented in mixed designs to make concrete blocks. Early prototype testing proved favorable. And then for the last few months, we've been fundraising to get this program up and running with support from the government of St. Vincent. So we have funding to launch a 4-month program that's basically going to replace up to 30% of the Portland cement used to make concrete blocks. That will meet a certain compressive strength of 7 to 8 megapascal, which is a little over 1,000 PSI per the building code here. This is going to produce 150,000 concrete blocks made from volcanic ash. And we have a partnership with the government of St. Vincent that we're going to put these blocks in 41 new homes that are being built basically to relocate families who were in like the heavily impacted areas and lost their entire homes. And this program is going to start where equipment's arrived in St. Vincent. We're setting up the site this month. The target is to start producing blocks next month through the end of October. And then also just continue, we have a 4-month funded program. We're going to fundraise to hopefully continue this program to produce as many blocks and ultimately reduce the cost of recovery for St. Vincent. So if you think about it for a second, if we're replacing up to 30% of the Portland cement, that's something that we're no longer paying for. We're using a hazardous material, we're upcycling it, and we're rebuilding homes with it. So there's this cost savings across the whole recovery. And there's a cost savings up front from like clearing the ash and the debris, right? You're not trucking it miles away. So as we're approaching this project in St. Vincent to create economic value to help with the recovery efforts, we're also documenting and we're creating a playbook that can be replicated for any of the 1,300 other active volcanoes around the world so that another NGO or another government can take this and implement this program, hopefully with less hurdles and barriers that we've had in trying to get this thing up and running, and they can provide value much faster. And ultimately there's some longevity there. So it has scalability, it has replicability, and it has some carbon emission reductions, has many benefits. I will pause there. So just kind of talking through some of these pictures, these are some of the stockpiles in the top left. In the middle top, you see some of the samples of the ash. We've brought in a portable block making machine that we're locating in the impacted area. So we're actually producing the blocks near where the homes were most impacted in St. Vincent. We'll be producing 8-inch and 6-inch blocks, some for structural walls, foundations, some for interior walls, to basically help get these 41 homes built and additional homes on top of those 41. So really excited about this project, working to get things up and running, and hopefully you'll see some good news in the next few weeks coming out of St. Vincent.
Fantastic, Andy. You should look at all the comments. You should go back and look at. Much love for you and your work. Incredible, spectacular, and innovative. Thank you. All right. So next up, want to invite Houston Client Services members Valeria and Raquel to the stage, please.
Thank you. So I'm going to be talking about GIS and why it's an excellent tool for disaster relief. Back in primary school, when computers and the internet started to become a thing in Peru, I was introduced to maps, and I instantly became a geography nerd. I love going through Google Maps and Google Earth, just traveling the world. And I even memorized like all the countries and the capitals of the world because I was just so interested on the Earth, social and biodiversity. So then when I moved to the US, I began to study urban and regional planning. And I chose that major because after I left my home country, actually, could you go to the next picture? Thank you. After I left my home country, the hardest disasters would strike. And we always had disasters, so it's not like it happened because the weather missed me. They just got worse. And without proper planning and preventative measures, my city just always had the worst outcomes. I play that game, it's great. So this is a picture of my city in Peru from the floods of 2017. And I chose this picture because it shows the vulnerable population getting help. So you have the elderly, the children, and the animals. And you can't see it in this picture, but there's a baby inside that pot. And we used to carry the babies for like whenever we had a disaster with those pots. So I love when the people and organizations would help my community. We didn't have programs like FCP, unfortunately, in my area because houses in vulnerable populations were made with bamboo sticks, and I don't think we have those in our warehouse. However, we had many organizations that also donated their time and money to help our community get back to normal. I remember there was this organization that donated their time and bought a bunch of soap, like tons of soap, and so many that you could just see them on the ground. And the reason why they were on the floor was because we lost water for like a whole week, and so and then we couldn't really use those soaps. What I loved and appreciated those donations from different organizations, I didn't really like to see their resources going to waste. And that's why I truly believe that understanding a situation will help many nonprofits make better decisions and respond more effectively during crisis. These hurricanes are way more intense, and they're only gonna keep getting worse. So also the underlying social inequities definitely increase the vulnerability of population during these events. And overall, I've noticed that in communities in the US, it's more systematic than before. And that's why I feel like emergency organizations would benefit from digital maps to better approach response efforts and look towards building resilience. Next slide. So maps are those tools that help us understand what is happening during a disaster. And let me give an example, and it's actually one of the very first examples of map analysis in the world. In 1854 in London, there was a severe cholera outbreak. And at that time, they thought cholera was a disease spread through miasma or in the air, or also called bad air. So Dr. John Snow, thank you. Dr. John Snow mapped each death, and it became apparent that the cases were clustered around a single pump. Each case was each case was a death in that thing. So you can see they're all in the middle. And the city was able to close that pump, and the cholera outbreak was contained. So besides identifying the sources of disease, what else can we do with maps? Next slide. We can track where our vulnerable population lives. We can track flooding information, current precipitation, flood warning areas, projected hurricane paths, hurricane evacuation maps, manage severe weather responses, and the list goes on. Like, even if you're not sure what you want to map today, there are multiple free lessons on their website. And in our Houston office, we mostly use this tool for outreach. That way we can see where our veterans live, where people with disability are located, or where people older than 62 live. We can also see if they're homeowners, and even create a layer of 1 hour of driving from our office, so the PLs don't have to drive too long. Next slide. And I noticed I've been talking to you about GIS, but I really haven't explained the basics of it. So GIS means Geospatial Information System. And basically, it's basically a digital map that through softwares like the ones from Esri can create, manage, and analyze maps of all types of data. And many organizations use GIS in their daily operations, like FEMA, the ENVO, the National Voluntary Organizations active in disasters, the World Health Organization, and like even Wendy's. So everyone uses them. And especially during crisis and disaster events, this system enables maps in the way that information becomes instantly available to inform the public and eliminate that paper-based map system, which clears the way of agencies like ours to respond faster. Next slide. Organizations use these softwares can see where resources are needed the most and anticipate problems before they occur. So not only can they be used for outreach like we do, but also, they could also be used in like deployment and anything you can imagine, to be honest, that would build resilience and help us respond to those vulnerable populations. And then to summarize, I think it will be a great tool because it not only shows us the real-time impact of disaster, but it also builds a shared situational awareness across response teams and stakeholders, public volunteers. And it also helps us conduct assessments, expedite responses and recovery efforts. It also monitors the status of community liveness and help us communicate recovery and resources to like everyone in the public. And that's it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Valeria, thank you so much. Really fantastic presentation. Awesome. Yeah, and I hope you go back and read all the comments as well. Thank you. All right, y'all. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there we go. Raquel, you are up next.
Hello there. Let me see right here. Hello, how you guys doing? My name is Raquel. I get kind of nervous, so yeah. But yeah, I live in Puerto Rico, like about 18 years or even more. I was born in New York. Since I was the little one, so I used to travel with my parents a lot. So I came back to Puerto Rico when I was 18. So I have two wonderful daughters, a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. I love the outdoors camping. I like to do paddleboard. I'm a really outdoor person. So yeah, I see these pictures and it just brings me a lot of joy. Actually, I joined SBP like around I would say March, I think it was. No, sorry, February I joined. And it's just been an amazing journey for me. It's just been wonderful. I joined AmeriCorps Vista in 2000. So, and SBP, so it would be my first term with SBP, but actually it would be my two terms. Yeah, those pictures bring me lots of joy. That's Anna's house. That would be my first house that I was with my team. They were wonderful. Shout out to all of them. I love you guys. I've learned so much with them. Actually, we celebrated Anna's birthday. She's the homeowner. We were pretty excited and she was pretty happy as well. We did a lot of work in that house and it was very happy. For me, it was very happy when we did the homecoming, that we gave her like the key and stuff like that. We did, and that was pretty excited and she was pretty happy. It got really emotional. I did get like a little emotional. So yeah, and the next one, that's the house that actually we're working right now. It's Casey's house. She's a 40-year-old mother of a 16-year-old boy. She lived all her life in that house, and after Hurricane Maria, so it got affected. So that's been amazing. I mean, I have so much fun. Actually, I used to be a Zumba instructor. So yeah, so one day I started at Anna's house. So I was you know what, we had volunteers that day and I wanted to make it fun. So I said, you know what, is there a radio or something? And we just pop it up. And yeah, actually shout out to DJ that he used to have all the time his radio and stuff. So yeah, so we started doing that actually every morning. And yeah, I mean, the volunteers just love it. So now that's what we do like every morning after, before we start our journey, as I say, and start doing the things that we need to do in the house and stuff. So we start doing maybe like a 6-minute warm up or 5, and they love it. I mean, they love it. I love it. For me, it's like I always tell everyone, right? When I was a little girl, I used to see my dad. He used to help a lot of communities, and he used to do events and charity events. He was retired, so he used to use his own paycheck to do like charities events to people in need. So I saw that growing up. So I saw him, and that's my passion. I was a little girl, and in my journey, I always say, you find your passion throughout your years, right? And this is my passion. I mean, definitely, I see myself doing many, many years more of SVP, or, I mean, I don't see it as a job. I don't see it as, it just brings me so much joy. I mean, I have so many wonderful pictures that even when I'm putting tiles, I put SVP. I mean, I take so wonderful pictures of the volunteers, and it's just amazing, and I really love it. And so yeah, I mean, it's a really good, and I'm just looking at the pictures. It's just bringing me a lot of joy because my team members are amazing. I love them. Shout out to Denise, to DJ that I work with, DJ as well, Kike and Mariana, and yeah, I mean, I learned so much from them. I'm very curious. So even when the contractors are there, I'm always asking, and how you do this, how you do that, and it helps me a lot. And I keep on sharing that knowledge to the volunteers as well, and to my SVP members. So I mean, I just love it. I mean, and there's something curious. And just shout out if you do feel the same way. I mean, I put the SVP t-shirt, and I'm not joking. It's like, I feel like I'm superhero or something. It means so much to me just by putting my t-shirt on. It means a lot. I mean, because I know I'm impacting the community. And I just put that t-shirt with so much joy. So yeah, it's a wonderful journey, and I love the volunteers. I always get so attached to every single one of them. I mean, they're just amazing. I'm always learning with them as well, and it just brings a lot of joy to me that I could teach them. Some of them they come with experience, but some of them they don't. So just the feeling that they go and they leave happy and just brings really joy to me. So it's a lot, yeah. And there's one of the pictures, yeah, we had a volunteers that came from Maryland, Dream Builders. Oh wow, all of them amazing, but yeah, one of them, they just came with a cake. Christian, he's a PO as well. They surprised me on my birthday. So yeah, that was pretty exciting. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I'm just enjoying the journey, and I love it. I just love it. I have to say, I mean, it's really joyful, and I wake up every morning just happy. I mean, just to see my members, my team members, and excited to see the volunteers. And I just like to impact them. Like I like to have atmosphere, like a happy oh, sorry, I keep on saying it wrong, but
Fantastic.
yeah, I do
Raquel,
like.
I can't thank you enough for your service, and what a shout out to all of the people. I mean, gosh, volunteers, your team. We're so lucky to have you, and I hope that you do, come back for another term, apply for staff roles. Your story, I think, is an inspiration to everyone on our team, but just can't thank you enough. So
Yeah.
thank you. All right. Well, with that, I know that we have a pretty tight agenda, so I'm going to have to move on. But thank you, Raquel. And next up, we're going to take a very short break for anyone who needs to do bio break. And while people are doing that, we're just going to do, instead of 5 minutes, we're going to do 4 minutes or maybe 3 minutes. So please hurry if you're going to get some water or a bio break. But in the meantime, we will do trivia. So how trivia is going to work is I'll read out the question. I mean, obviously you can see the questions here, but the first person in the chat box who gets the first answer in the chat, when I say go, I have to say go. You will win peer recognition. So number one, get ready, and I'll tell you when to go. Anybody who goes before I say go, disqualified. What was the first location SBP opened an operation in when we expanded out of St. Bernard Parish? Ready? Sorry, Andrea, I didn't say go. Sorry, Edgardo. Sorry, Javier. Sorry, Emerson. Sorry, Rachel, Ashley. Ready, set, go. Oh, there we go. We've never done it this way before, but that's.
I think it was Olivia, huh? Wait, let me see.
I'm not sure who won that one. I think everyone said Joplin wins. That was phenomenal. Yes, Joplin, Missouri was our second site after New Orleans. And I know if you haven't heard from Mike Sullivan, especially if you're an AmeriCorps member during orientation, Mike has a really impactful story around Joplin. All right, so we're going to move on to number 2. I have to say go. When you hear the magic word, that's when you can chime in. Which corporate partner sent members of their team to volunteer every day for a year after Hurricane Harvey, and they continue to send volunteers today? Ready, set, go kart. Okay, go.
Technically, go is in the word go-kart, so
you're absolutely right, Mike.
It's hyphenated.
I think you're right. I guess I lose on that one. Yes, everybody who said Farmers is right. Farmers Insurance. In fact, when I was an AmeriCorps member, gosh, I don't even want to admit how long ago it was with SBP. It was 2014, 2015. Farmers was there when I was there back then. Farmers is still with us. So such an incredible partner, and to send volunteers, people that they're paying to come volunteer their time away from their job for a year, every day for a year after Hurricane Harvey is just such a corporate commitment. We can't thank them enough. All right, so we're going to do this in 2 parts. Number 3, which 2 operating sites will commemorate the 5-year anniversary of the storm this year? You have to get them both. Viviana, I'm sorry, you went too soon. Ready, set, go. All right, Viviana, I'll give it to you as well. Yes, everybody who said Houston and Puerto Rico are correct, or Puerto Rico and Houston, but the bonus, what were the 2 names of the storms? Ready, set, go. Edgardo, you got it, man. I think maybe Rachel got it. I didn't see. Irma also, yeah, and Irma, don't forget Irma. Yep, Rachel, all right, you win. Fantastic. All right, well, thank you everyone for playing. Definitely mixed it up this time around on the rules. We'll see what we do next time on trivia. Okay, so if you can hear me and you are not yet back, please start making your way back to your computer. And then I would ask, we're about to go through some new team member highlights, both AmeriCorps and staff. So I would ask that everybody, if you're able to, turn your cameras back on, and we will get started here again. So I'm going to invite Courtney Matthews, our HR generalist, to go through or to introduce how we're going to introduce all of our new staff members, because we certainly have had a ton of staff members join the team. So excited. Courtney, take it away.
Yes. And really quickly, Raquel, I hear it all in your voice, and that's amazing. It was my first time virtually meeting you, and I felt it. So that was just lovely. But yes, normally for this section, I will have the new hires introduce themselves, answer a little question, but as you can see, we have been very busy bringing on lots of talent here. So what I'm gonna have them do is just go through the names and just say your name, your position, and where you're located. If you want to throw in a little something, you can, but make it quick. But just cameras on so we can see those lovely faces when you introduce yourselves. And Doug, I will have you kick it off.
Hi, everyone. My name is Doug Kalajian, and I am SBP's National Communications Manager. I'm based out of California, and I will see you again in a couple slides.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer Beaver. I'm the marketing director, and I'm located in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I apologize in advance for Miss Kitty's debut on the All Teams meeting.
Hi, everybody. My name is Laura Johnson. I am the HR and AmeriCorps Program Manager for New Orleans.
Hi, everyone. My name is Audra Gill. I'm a junior recruitment specialist with SBP from Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. I'm not sure if Phil is on. I thought I saw him, but Kenneth.
Oh, I'm here. Okay, here I am.
Sorry. Oh, I
My
had to call you
music,
out, Phil. I'm so sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Phil Perkins. I'm the Executive Director of Opportunity Housing Development, and I'm based in Houston.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kenneth Morgan, the Executive Director of the New Orleans Operations Site, and I'm in New Orleans.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine Glover. I am the HR Administrative Assistant, and I'm based in Tallahassee, Florida.
Hi, my name is Brittany Williams. I'm the staff accountant here in New Orleans.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Stinnett. I am the Resilience and Recovery Fellows Program Director, and I live in Aurora, Colorado.
Hey, y'all. My name is Grace Bailey. I'm a client service manager, and I'm in New Orleans.
Hi, I'm Claire Balsley. I'm Director of Disaster Assistance Programs, and I'm located in Southern California.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kaya White. I'm the Disaster Appeals Associate for Kentucky, and I am based in Murray, Kentucky.
And Dallas is, I don't think she's here today, but she's the development intern, I believe, and I'm not sure where she's located, but yes. So Alex, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Spear. I am the construction project manager here in Houston.
Hey, I'm Dara Olivencia. I'm the client case manager located here at Freeport, Bahamas.
Hey everyone, I'm Brenna Pittman. I'm a strategic partnerships associate and I'm in New Orleans.
Hi, I'm Hannah Troutwine. I am a disaster preparedness and recovery analyst for the Advise team, and I'm located in Charleston, West Virginia.
Hello, I'm Owen Chawla, and I am an accounting intern, and I'm located in New Orleans.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Lawson. I am the construction administrator in Columbia, South Carolina.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Yes, we are all over the map, right? We're everywhere now, but I get the pleasure of speaking with everyone that comes in. So you guys, this team that we're putting together here, it's getting better and better. We're doing more and more things. So just welcome everybody and thank you guys for the introduction.
Courtney, thank you. Everyone who has joined since Doug and everyone before, certainly. So happy to have you join the team as staff members. I just want to, I know we have a section later on for shout outs, but I'm going to do it now. I need to shout out Courtney because since Doug in February, we have hired 19 new staff members, which is absolutely phenomenal. Courtney, huge shout out to you. Huge shout out to all of our hiring managers, and huge shout out to all of our new team members. So that was staff. Next up, our fantastic AmeriCorps members. So Andrea, I believe, Andrea, you might be doing all of it, or we're doing it by—
I'm doing half of it, and Ian's doing the other half.
Okay, great. Which half?
Okay, I'm gonna go first, y'all. I had to get myself off mute. Cool. So for our Puerto Rico team, we have Monica. She's gonna be, or she is a client service coordinator, and we did some little fun facts everyone shared with us. So Monica, a couple of things she wants to do. One, she wants to take her mom to Paris one day, and also she adopted a dog from site, like it was a neighboring site to their project, and so she adopted her pet dog named Joey Luna. Next we have Ernesto. Ernesto is a project lead in Puerto Rico. Fun fact about him is that he used to be a tour guide at Bioluminescence Bay. Pretty cool job there. We have Alexander Rosado. He is a client services coordinator in Puerto Rico. And the fun fact he shared with me is that he really loves salt, which I just thought was awesome. Also, we have Christina Catlin in Puerto Rico as well. She's a client services coordinator. Fun fact about her is that she is a triplet. And also she took the role at SBP because she wants to pursue social work after this, and also she wanted to practice and brush up on her Spanish. We also have Adrian. He is a client services coordinator as well in Puerto Rico. Fun fact about him is that he's a bird watcher and he loves to explore new hiking areas. And then Andrea has Houston and New Orleans, but someone else that I'm introducing is Sarah Stafford. She is the first AmeriCorps member that we have in Southwest Louisiana. Fun fact about Sarah is that she is the former SGA president at McNeese.
Great, thanks, Ian. I had so much fun reaching out to folks and getting their fun facts. I got such a variety. So I'm gonna start with New Orleans. So Evan is in his second term with SVP. He joined to get experience in disaster response. He's always wanted to help people, especially in their time of need. And after graduation this August, he's gonna be attending EMT school. Kate, her fun fact is that she lived in Jordan for 4 months. Daniel shared that he loves dinosaurs, especially the underwater, or specifically the underwater and flying ones. And he also loves really big trees. He shared with me that he has seen the redwoods. That was my question. Pat's fun fact is that he loves dangling earrings. Super cool. Talal's, his work experience includes teaching English in China. Naki shared that her entire apartment is pink down to the carpet. Now Houston, Jameson is trained in mixed martial arts and has worked on movies and TV shows in New Mexico. Julian has a lot of construction experience and is currently serving as a CC, but assists as a PL and SNL as well. Alicia is in her second term. Her time at SVP has really shaped her interest in public service work, and she is looking to pursue a career in nonprofits. Daniel, fact numero uno, Spanish is my first language. Fact numero dos, hiked Angel's Landing in the nighttime during a full moon. And Othello is a returning member and he is studying project management. Super excited for all of our amazing AmeriCorps members.
All right. So some of y'all might have seen this already, but a fantastic video. And Patrick's message.
I think in life, every moment we have a choice. to either project fear or extend love. And I think my message to the world would be choose to extend love, because living in fear it's a choice, but there is another one, and you can choose to extend love and live in love and radiate love.
Has to be one of my favorite SBP videos. Patrick, thank you. What a simple but powerful, impactful message. I absolutely love it. Somehow I got off a full screen share. Give me just a second.
Kyle, I can tee up this next video.
Think in life.
That would be fantastic. Thank you, Doug.
Sure thing. Hello again, everybody. Last month, I had the opportunity to record some photo and video content with 3 of our amazing operating sites, Houston, Southwest Louisiana, and New Orleans. And I thought, since you'd seen Houston's video with Venus and his very sweet client, Gabriella, we could share Patrick Smith's, our new AmeriCorps members, message of love. We sent that out externally, but just in case you missed it, thought we'd share. This next video is actually a sneak peek of a video that we've been developing. It's still a work in progress, so don't send your complaints yet, but it'll be buttoned up soon. But really, really grateful for Kyle's drone work and Kristen's key grip and assistance in the moment out there in Southwest Louisiana. So here we go.
Right now, we're standing in a building in downtown Lake Charles. This is still the state of recovery for the city. This is still the reality for most of us that live here. I'm standing on a floor right now in a municipal building that is squishy underneath my feet. The walls are all torn down. It is full of mold. There's insulation everywhere. And while this is just a building that's unoccupied, there are many houses where this is people's living reality. This is what they're still living in today. And so we really need people to step up and donate. We need volunteers. Anything that you can imagine that an operation like ours would need, we need it.
So thank you for watching that sneak preview. There are many of you out there who collaborated on these videos, and without you, these videos wouldn't have been possible. So truly, thank you all for your support and your collective effort in making these a reality. For those of you I haven't visited yet in the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, and Florida, I'm really looking forward to collaborating with you. If you have any ideas or key stories you'd like to tell, please reach out to me. And I have to say, if you've enjoyed some of these videos and want to see more, please follow us on your favorite social media platforms and show some love.
Fantastic, Doug. Thank you so much. All right. So next up are some HR updates. So wanted to talk to everyone about storm season prep. You know, I at the start of this presentation said we were 7 days in. Oh my gosh, no, we're 15 days in to storm season, hurricane season, and we work for SBP. What does that mean? That means that we take care of homeowners in educating them before disaster strikes, what kind of insurance they should have, what kind of preparations they should take, what do they do after a storm. That's great, that's fantastic, but we have to think about ourselves as well. So what does personal preparedness for storm season look like? It looks like a number of things. What does preparedness look like for storm season? It looks like a number of things. There's personal preparedness, there's SBP site preparedness, and there's national preparedness. For those of y'all who have, had the unfortunate luck of going through a major storm, you know that some really simple prior preparation goes a long way. I think back to last year going through Ida, or the aftermath of Ida rather, and I spent a long time waiting in line for gas. I spent a long time waiting in line for bottled water. Bottled water is one of those things that I could go to the store and not wait in line and buy a ton of bottled water right now and have it ready for storm season. And that's what I would encourage our team members to do. The last thing, we are a client-focused organization. We want to deploy when there's a disaster. It takes a while to get yourself prepared. And if we're doing that before we can, move and help clients or in a deployment, that's just extra time. It's extra stress we don't need when we can prepare well in advance and be ready to hit the ground running. What I would recommend you do, if you haven't seen it yet, download SVP's Equip app. There is so much incredible content in the Equip app. It is what you should have in your emergency kit, your emergency supply kit. So, everything from batteries to NOAA radio, flashlight, all the things that you would need. Build it now, start building it now. Also, food for however many days, water. I would just suggest that everybody downloads that app, looks through the content, update your evacuation plan. So as we know, with storms that are approaching, especially, bigger storms, storms that are quicker moving, they can take different routes at the last minute. We thought that Ida was going to be, I think, a Cat 2, and then within 72 hours, it was high 3, low 4. And so know where you're going to evacuate, and if the storm takes a turn towards that direction, have a backup plan. And then last thing, and these are just the big takeaways, I still encourage you to look through SVP's Equip app, but walk through your house with your phone before storm season, before hurricane season, and document all of your belongings. For those of us who rent, have renter's insurance. For those of us who own a home, have homeowner's insurance and flood insurance. The Equip app will talk to you about what you should have, what you should be looking for. But if you're doing all of that before a storm hits, hopefully it doesn't, but a storm hits your area, then the other two things, the SVP side of things, helping our clients, falls into place much quicker. You don't have to stress out about yourself because you're already taken care of. So for our site level, so each site and each department has a storm plan. If you don't know it, talk to your supervisor, talk to your SVP staff member supervisor, and understand what that site plan and that department plan looks like. It's an all hands on deck situation to ensure that our team members are safe, that our clients are safe, that our team members' families are safe. And then after that, that all SVP assets are secured. And then finally is SVP National Preparedness. And Liz is going to talk a little bit about our disaster response at the end of our meeting here. But Anya and some other fantastic SVP collaborators have developed our first disaster response standard operating procedure manual. Had a chance to review it the other day with some other SVP team members, and it's amazing. It is literally the blueprints of how we will respond after disaster. And we've learned lots of lessons from every single disaster that we have responded to in the past. And this is a collection of that information. So these three things I ask you to think about as we go through, as we go through storm season, a storm season that we have a strong feeling is going to be active. We want to ensure everybody's safety, the safety of our clients, and the safety of SVP as we respond to disasters this year. And next up, just wanted to let everyone know, we have 3 upcoming holidays that I think, I'm not sure if we'll have another all-team meeting before Labor Day, but this coming Monday, June 20th, is Juneteenth observed. So we're all off on that day. Independence Day on July 4th, and then Labor Day on September 5th. So those 3 days are the next upcoming holidays that all team members have. All right, and next up, I'm going to invite Andrea to talk a little bit about recruitment.
Hey y'all, I'm so excited about this. So I'm gonna get started with a couple with a recruitment report, couple curious connection questions. So I want y'all to put in the chat, where did y'all first hear about SVP? So we're talking recruitment in our team about how we want to reach people. How did y'all hear about SVP? Cool. AmeriCorps website, current staff member, LinkedIn, Indeed, Emerson. Awesome. This is cool, y'all. I'm a friend. Oh my gosh. So yeah, people are hearing about SVP from all kinds of places. And currently we're in a really challenging place with recruitment. We have 83 AmeriCorps member slots to fill and 20 staff members that we are recruiting for. For AmeriCorps, we have critical fills in Houston, New Orleans, and Southwest Louisiana. So specifically Houston, we're looking for supply and logistics, 4 disaster corps members and 1 DC. New Orleans, we're looking for 2 volunteer coordinators, 5 disaster corps members. Southwest Louisiana, we got to send some AmeriCorps members to help out Sarah. We need 2 client service coordinators, 1 VC, and 3 construction coordinators, y'all. So if you know of anybody who you think really would enjoy doing an AmeriCorps term, please send them our way. And this summer, we have big bonuses for referring people, for recruiting people. So hopefully you've heard about both of these already, but if not, here we are. First is the Challenge of the Curious Connectors. So in June and July, I'm sending out weekly challenges each Wednesday. And for participating in the challenges, you're going to get entries into a drawing, and there's going to be 7 random winners chosen at the end of the summer. So far, 47 of y'all have earned entries into the drawing. And a big shout out to the following people who have completed all 3 challenges, including the one I sent this morning: Audra Gill, Curtis Bishop, Megan Nocella, and Pam Kidwell. Snaps to y'all. So the tasks we've had so far, we've had helping us connect with your alma maters, for us to go out and get partnerships with them. We've had submitting photos from your time with SVP. And then today's challenge is to share the comms team's AmeriCorps Monday post. I have sent an email out this morning. All the details are there. So if you need any notes, you can go there. You can also email me. All right, next Curious Connector question. Please share in the chat. What's your favorite thing to share with other people about the work that you do with SVP? And I just saw Ian's message. Southwest Louisiana needs a supply and logistics / coordinator, construction coordinator hybrid person. Sweet. All right, impact right after a disaster. I barely pay for a contractor at my house because I know how to do it all myself. Fantastic. Some seriously good people. Volunteering. Whenever I read volunteer feedback, it makes me just like want to be out there in the field with y'all. It is inspiring. Having measurable impact on disaster affected communities. Megan can feather a drywall seam like none other. Fantastic. And I don't even know what that means. Our systems change approach. Awesome, y'all. Please continue putting your info in the chat. For time, I'm going to keep going. The other thing that we are doing for referral this summer only is dollars. It's dollars. So for every staff member that y'all successfully recruit who starts by September 1st, you will receive $500. For every AmeriCorps member, you will receive $150. And if you successfully recruit 3 AmeriCorps members, you get an additional bonus, $200, and American Airlines flight worth 30,000 miles. The key here is you must have the person who you're referring include your name in the referred by line on their application. So wherever you're talking about SVP, whenever you share a post on your social media, just put a little line in there. Say, hey, if you apply, put my name in. You don't have to know the person. If they hear about SVP because of you and they put your name in the referred by line, you get the referral bonus. So lots of ways to win, lots of ways to get even more amazing people on our team. Thank y'all so much. And I'm looking forward to having even more of you join the Challenge of the Curious Connectors and win some referral bonuses.
Fantastic, Andrea, thank you. And appreciate how how we're being very creative, how you're being very creative and innovative and helping get great people into both the AmeriCorps program and the staff seats. Fantastic. All right, so we're almost through. We have shout outs and we have question and answer session before we wrap up. Shout outs, one of my favorite sections or sessions. So what we do here, for those of y'all who don't know, or just a reminder, we shout out our team members, our peers, people who we've interacted with, our supervisors, our direct reports, anyone who has lived out a value, who's gone above and beyond, who you just want to recognize. You know, I've heard a bunch of shout outs already on this call. I shouted out Courtney. I'll kick it off and shout out Jasmine Glover, our new HR administrative assistant, who has taken, I would say, maybe a mountain of information and digested it in a very, very short amount of time, and is just such a bright and lovely person to have on the HR team, especially, you know, customer facing or staff facing. So we can, the way that this works is you can just chime in and we'll try not to step on each other's toes, or there we go, Pamela's already doing it, or we can use the chat and I'll start reading some of those out too. So Pamela, shout out for Stephen Guston, finding ways to be the curious connector. Shout out to Andy for his new block initiative, truly brilliant. Jasmine is the best thing, says Courtney, I agree. Neil, unleashing it. Shout out to the placement site members that are serving solo at their site. Juan and Janica, y'all are great. I'd love to hear some verbal shout outs too, so please hop in.
Hey, I would love to shout out Caitlin Perez in Houston. She just has been such an amazing resource for me, a mentor. She would say she's just doing her job, but I don't know how she does it, all that she does, and she still finds ways to lend capacity to our operating site. She came and visited us, gave me some tools that have really sharpened up our intake process, and we're already seeing returns on that just a few weeks after her visit. I just really want to shout out Caitlin because she juggles a whole lot and does it with such grace and flair and just awesomeness. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. I appreciate that shout out. Real quick shout out to Othello for steering through turbulence. Shout out to Mackenzie, unleash it. She continues to amaze with talent. Anya, Liz, and Thomas and others for creating the disaster SOP. Shout out to Ashley Thompson for the mom rule. Brittany Williams, yes, Brittany number 3 is killing it. And let me just make sure I get through these and we can get back to verbals. Shout out to Katie Malucci for the amazing job she does every day. She's awesome. Shout out to the SNL team in Puerto Rico. Thanks, Javier. Shout out to Dara for unleashing it from the moment she got to site. Oh my gosh, they keep going and going and going. Shout out to SPP's skate team. If interested in joining, send applications to Mike Sullivan. No experience shredding the NAR. Sorry, I got the NAR part. Necessary. No experience shredding the NAR necessary. There we go. Double shout out to Comms Marketing, owning the route. Shout out to Mackenzie again, and Frank for steering through turbulence. Shout out to Dara for jumping into the new role and pumping out NTPs like a boss in the Bahamas. Shout out to the Bahamas team for being so welcoming and for all of the guidance that Dara's received. Shout out to Luis for his help on site with volunteers, and Javier for always taking the time to guide me through the tasks on site. SPP people who are helping in the national orientations with new members providing trainings. Shout out to the Columbia SC team. Shout out to Cam Cooper in Houston, a soul and absolutely crushing it. Shout out to the Advise team for preventing bad decisions in M. I'm not sure what M means, but unleashing it. Oh, and thank
Michigan.
Michigan, thank you. And shout out to me for reading all of these. All right, that was a lot. I will let anyone else.
Shout out Jennifer Beaver on the marketing side of things, crushing it and supporting the AmeriCorps team with just the most wonderful digital marketing campaign that we've ever had at SPP. And it's, excuse my language, pretty effing rad.
And one from me for Michelle Stinnett, who's really embraced time matters and has owned her route in the creation of strategy and the application of that strategy on the Resilience and Recovery Fellows program. Really excited about it.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Luz, who is our 4th-term member, construction coordinator. And part of her fundraising effort, she sends letter to different companies trying to get donations. And in just the last 2 weeks, she got us over 86 cases of water bottles and over 40 cases of masks, just in time for storm season. So thank you, Luz, for all those great efforts.
I have one really quickly too. I guess KP, today is your day, but I have to second that with Caitlin. You know, at each of the sites, sometimes I have a go-to, and Caitlin is that one for me. And no matter what I ask her that has nothing to do with what she's supposed to be doing, she does it. I'm like, Caitlin, is there shirts over there? Do we have water bottles? Do we have stuff for new hires? Is there laptops? Can I mail it to you? I'm always like going to her. And so, and she never complains, and she always helps me. So Caitlin, KP, you're amazing. And for South Carolina, that person is Maria for me. So quick shout out to her as well. Like I said, if I need certain things at certain sites, those are kind of the ones that I go to. So definitely appreciate you guys, both of you.
Shout out to Javier for all of his support. We got a seconding to Michelle. Shout out to Elizabeth Egley for curiously connecting. Hard to say, but have to agree. Shout out Grace and Kristen for steering through endless turbulence and just being the most wonderful people of all time. Heart, love you both. Go Luz. Shout out Javier for always being there. Shout out to Cam and Gretchen. Maria Gonzalez is the best. Thanks, Courtney. These are great. All right, so if anybody has any more, we'll get them in, and then we'll move on to Q&A. Megan, Mike, Andrea, recruitment support. Woo woo. Michelle?
Hey, yeah, last one for me. Shout out to the whole AmeriCorps program management team. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but we are transitioning from one applicant tracking system to another. And man, it is crazy when you go through stuff like that, especially when you work, when your funding comes from a federal agency that loves documentation. So shout out to everyone making that possible. We have finished over a week ahead of schedule, and I couldn't be more proud of the team.
Fantastic. Got some more shout outs. The finance team for constructively, discontentingly unleashing it. I think I got that right. Shout out to the PL team and PR. Shout out to the accounting.
Nailed it.
Thanks for keeping.
Oh, I got one. Oh, sorry, Kyle. I got one for Mike Sullivan. I read a really incredible prepared comment from SBP to AmeriCorps, the agency, about some potential changes to the program. And I know that Mike prepared it and pulled stuff from others, but I was really impressed with it. Way to go, Mike.
Heck yeah. Loving this, y'all. All right, so please keep the shout outs in the chat coming. We're gonna move on to question and answers, just so we stay on track. But if please keep shooting the comments or the shout outs, and we'll definitely send out the recording of this video and the chat log to everyone after this call. So Q&A, we got great questions this time around. And just for everybody who hasn't been to an all team meeting before, we send out a survey in advance of our all team, so we can get questions from team members, AmeriCorps and staff, and then we answer those questions on this call. So we're going to divide the questions up this time around, and I'm going to invite Thomas to talk about the first question that we received.
Thanks, Kyle. Hey, folks. So the question, the first one here is, what does the future of the Houston operating site look like? And I want to try and answer this in a way that is maybe relevant to a bunch of folks. So to start, at the beginning of the year, we were contacted by a few different groups here in Houston, the restoration team, a number of entities that are sort of doing the same sort of rebuilding work, and asked SBP where there could be partnership opportunity, where we could combine forces, because Groups like Harvey Home Connect and other large agencies in Houston are shutting down their Harvey repair and recovery programs. So we're in this state of recovery in Houston where a lot of the groups that have been able to do the work can't anymore. I'm going to come back to that in a second, but to speak specifically about where we are in Houston, we have 29 more projects to complete in 2022. Phil, who y'all heard from earlier, is positioning SBP as an influencer and an introducer of affordable housing in Houston. So there's a bunch of stuff that's going to continue to move on in Houston. I'm excited that we heard a bunch of shout outs to Caitlin, who is also one of my favorite people. But Caitlin and I are going to work together on really a business development strategy in Houston, where we're going to seek out local support an opportunity to expand our Houston program in 2023. And we also have partners that are connecting with us nationally on a 5-year anniversary campaign. Elizabeth Egley is going to be boarding a plane in a couple of hours to come out, where we're going to host some folks from the Astros who are looking to make an investment. So there's a bunch of activity happening. With that said, SVP has a long history of being like the last group standing with a build intervention post-disaster, which is at times kind of an exhausting place to live within when you're a part of the operation, because even though we've gone further than most, it just means that there are fewer resources to access. But we also know as an organization that our community presence, it both supports and amplifies the tremendous work that our share team does, that our advise team, advocate, or prepare. There are many reasons why SBP wants to be the last entity standing rebuilding. And foremost is because we have homeowners that have tried to get their needs met by dozens of other agencies and they can't get there. And so what does the future look like for the Houston operating site? We will continue to remain in Houston, providing affordable housing services, home repair services. We're going to continue to have presence. And over the next 6 months, especially the local Houston team, you can look to see progress through Caitlin's work and through my work and really identifying programs that we can invest in next year. But if anybody has any other questions about like what Houston looks like, or if you work at an operating site and you have questions about the trajectory, you can always feel comfortable reaching out to me. There's no like Oz behind the curtain. I'm happy to be as transparent as I can be with where we are.
Fantastic. Thank you, Thomas. Really appreciate that. So the next two, and I think we have 5 or 6. The next two I will speak to. So one great question that we got was, has SVP considered an anonymous feedback mechanism for AmeriCorps members, or this question was specifically around AmeriCorps members, but let's open it up to staff as well, to surface needs or requests or provide constructive feedback? Fantastic question. We haven't had that in the past. We haven't had an anonymous feedback mechanism for members or for staff. And I think that's a really good idea and one that we're going to consider implementing. As y'all know, one of our values is constructive discontent. And while we hope that team members feel comfortable surfacing challenges or discussing discontent with their supervisor or their AmeriCorps program manager or their executive director, we would rather have people provide feedback in any way, shape, or form than for someone not to provide feedback if they didn't feel comfortable reaching out to their supervisor or their AmeriCorps program manager. So we'll certainly consider what mechanism that, or what kind of mechanism that would look like. But I'd also encourage team members, who might not feel comfortable talking to their supervisor or there's someone on their leadership team, reach out to me, reach out to Courtney or Mike or Thomas or Anya, whoever at SVP, especially, at the national level. We are all committed to prioritizing listening to feedback and respect feedback and encourage it. So just wanted to let everyone know that. The second question I wanted to talk about was, the question was, will SVP start listing salary ranges on job postings? And this is another fantastic question. We continue to assess whether or not we're going to post salary ranges on our staff job postings. There's certainly a lot of good reasons to post salary ranges, and I anticipate SVP getting to that point, but there are some disadvantages, and one of those disadvantages is when we do post a salary range, it can scare off people who might think that that salary range is too low for them, and in some cases too high for them. But when it's too low, what they don't often understand is that as an SVP staff member, our benefits are pretty awesome. And when you look at, pay versus benefits, there's this balance that you have to make. But what we do what we do is we are very transparent about the salary bands for our positions with all candidates in all first round interviews to make sure that that salary band aligns with them. But so more so we're able to have a conversation about the organization, the value that working at SPP has, the benefits. So that's the main reason. That's what we do now. I'm not saying that we won't post salary ranges or salary bands in the future, but it's something that we're still working on assessing. So again, really, really astute and great question there. All right, so Mike, I will invite you to answer some of the AmeriCorps specific questions.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. A couple great questions came in for this all team. So the first is kind of a two-parter. Has SPP considered raising the AmeriCorps stipend? And then in thinking about the AmeriCorps stipend, how does SPP fund the referral bonus? And could that money be used to raise the stipend for our members instead? So a couple points here. The first being that the process to increase or change compensation for AmeriCorps members requires specific actions on the part of both the program and AmeriCorps, the agency. We're currently working with AmeriCorps, the agency, to understand what our options are to adjust funding that can support members specifically due to cost of living increases that we're all experiencing currently. So to answer the second part of the question, AmeriCorps has approved the use of very specific funds for AmeriCorps recruitment, which includes our referral program. In the current job market, AmeriCorps recruitment certainly has been challenging, and SPP is trying new tactics to boost team numbers. And so while cash bonuses are awarded to those who successfully refer members to our program, the budget for this is recommended and approved separately from member support costs. So this is another great question, and we are continuing to understand what our options or opportunities are in assessing the stipend amount. The next question, 1,700-hour, 10-month AmeriCorps service terms seem like they may be hard to complete if someone experiences a major illness or compelling personal circumstance. So how is SPP thinking about this? SPP has and will continue to work with all members who experience hardships during their service term that make completing their term of service unreasonable. SPP will continue to work diligently to excuse hours missed due to the impact of COVID-19 on individual members and the impact of COVID-19 collectively on our operating sites. SPP will support and encourage members as eligible to apply for compelling and personal circumstance exits that would allow members to access the full benefits of completing a service term and earn either a full or prorated education award based on the circumstances and the total number of hours completed. Additionally, to the notion of completing a 1,700-hour term over the course of 10 months, those 1,700 hours over the course of 10 months align with SPP's operating site hours Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and our volunteer schedules. It also maximizes the stipend amount on each living stipend check rather than spreading that amount over, let's say, like an 11 or even 12-month term. Thank you for the questions.
Fantastic, thanks, Mike. And one of the, just one point of clarification, around the referral bonus, AmeriCorps funds are not used for staff referral. So anyone who, we talked about the staff referral bonus, that's not a drawdown on AmeriCorps. So just a point of clarification there. And then the last question, Liz, I would love if you could address how we're going to respond to disasters this year and who's involved and how to decide where to go and what communities to help.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. And thanks for the question. We have a lot of folks who are new on the call and who haven't had an opportunity to sort of learn about deployments and our response activities. So first and foremost, we have a team of people who are involved in our response activities. That could be folks in the finance and accounting team, on the development team, comms and marketing, and then others who are actually going to the site and are there full-time on the ground for weeks and in some cases months, helping to organize specific activities that we're doing to assist homeowners, whether that's mucking and gutting or debris removal, doing mold remediation or other activities. So first, we have a team. Second is that we are trying to go to communities where the people who are impacted align with our mission and the types of clients that we work with. We also want to go to communities where other organizations either aren't going or maybe are just going for a short stint and then they're going to pull out and head somewhere else. And so again, we want to support families who are really going to struggle either because they don't have the financial resources or they don't have the insurance to help them with their recovery. The third thing that we're doing is we're learning from prior years. And so we were really fortunate to have a session with everybody on the team who helped to respond to Ida. And thank you, JR, for facilitating that. It was a really candid, super helpful, if not slightly painful session to be a part of. Great, great learnings. And so we've incorporated a lot of those learnings into our response SOP or standard operating procedures and continuing to update those. In fact, just the other day, we had a call with the whole team of people who were involved in response, asking them to continue to read it, make sure it's up to date, and then also prepare for what will be our first ever simulated disaster response. And we're doing that this year because we think there's real value in us practicing, right? And in every line of business, when you practice, or actually in anything in life, generally when you practice, you execute better during the real thing. And so in addition to that, we have a lot of new people on our team who haven't worked together during a response. And so we want to give everybody a chance to practice, to ask questions, to make mistakes, to understand what success looks like, and really learn from it before we have to kind of go live and respond to a real disaster. And then the last thing that we're going to do and do much better this year, again, another great learning from Ida, is to communicate with all of you and just keep everybody updated on where we're going, why we're going there, what we're doing, how long we plan to stay, and then if how, you can get involved to support our deployment and response efforts. So that's it in a nutshell. If you have questions, comments, concerns, if you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat more. And we'll continue to keep everybody looped in. The forecast for this hurricane season is not particularly good, but we'll continue to be hopeful and certainly be prepared and ready should something happen. So thanks, Kyle.
Fantastic. Thank you, Liz. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. Really fantastic questions this time around. I don't know if we've ever ended an all team or a all staff meeting like right on time. It's amazing. But just want to thank everybody who presented today. Want to give a huge shout out to all of our new team members, both AmeriCorps and staff members. And thank you all for joining. Really, it is wonderful seeing all of our team together. Can't wait till the next time. But until then, have a great rest of your week. Reach out if you need anything and take care, y'all.
Bye, everybody.